Now, as promised, Keith Shannon, Scott Olsen's roommate, a member of Iraq Veterans Against the War, joining us now from San Francisco. Thank you for your time tonight on this of all nights, sir. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
What's the latest on his condition? A stable, family present? Do you have a prognosis?
Right now, he's stable but critical. His family is on their way from Wisconsin. They should be in about 11:30 Pacific tomorrow. Right now, he's sedated on a respirator with the skull fracture and swelling in his brain, and the neurosurgeons are still trying to decide whether or not they need to take him into surgery.
I don't mean to put too fine a point on this, but is it clear whether or not his injuries are life-threatening?
I don't believe they're life-threatening, but we don't know if it's going to cause permanent brain damage or not.
Yeah, well, there's something to hold on to, at least in one small space there of good news. When and how did you hear about this injury last night?
I heard about it this morning. I woke up and I had a lot of messages from some of Scott's family, as well as from people at the protest who Scott had told them his roommate's first name, and they were able to find me. And so once I got up, I started looking around, trying to find out where he was, and headed to the hospital once I located him.
So by the time you got there, he was already sedated, I assume?
Yes.
So,
yes.
But we should make that clear, because from the video, it's apparent that he's conscious after he got hit. So there was some lucidity there, and they chose to put him unconscious to hasten his recovery.
Correct. He walked into the hospital, and then they sedated him there.
All right. Well, that's good to begin with. Let's talk about the bigger picture. Were you surprised, even after what happened on Monday night, were you surprised that this escalated to what it did last night?
Definitely. I was quite surprised.
What happened? I mean, is there the Oakland PD obviously has a reputation for claiming provocation for anything and everything it does. Is there any evidence that the kind of riot gear, canister shooting or throwing police, gigantic presence that was there was somehow called for? Were these problems instigated by the protesters in any serious way, to your knowledge?
I've been talking to a lot of the protesters who were there when it happened, and they were just on a peaceful march, and the police officers started pulling them out of the march and arresting some of them, which is when it started getting slightly out of hand, is when the protesters started throwing paint and water. Mm-hmm. And when the protesters tried to march back to their encampment, the police officers opened up with them with rubber bullets, the flashbang, and the smoke canisters.
My understanding is there were ear witness reports, I guess would be the description of these people, that those flashbang grenades sounds almost like something we might use on a rather raunchy 4th of July. My understanding is the impact of those things could be felt 2 miles away. These are not toys we're talking about. Right,
they're definitely very serious.
Tell me about your service with Scott in Iraq. Did your experiences there impact how you see and chose to get involved in this movement?
I definitely did. We both disagreed with the Iraq War even while we were on tour there. And Scott especially has been extremely active with Veterans for Peace, as well as Iraq Veterans Against the War. So.
What would, obviously you haven't spoken to him, you don't want to put words in his mouth, but you have an assessment of how he would feel about being suddenly a central figure who is internationally known in this effort?
Well, we talk about it a lot, and I think he would appreciate the fact that this experience, no matter how bad it is being used for something good to put light on what's really going on there.
Last question. Are you going to continue to get involved further in Occupy protests going forward?
Yes, I'm definitely going to invest myself even more than I was before.
Keith Shannon, the roommate of Scott Olsen, the Occupy protester who lies in critical condition in a hospital in Oakland tonight, and both members of Iraq Veterans Against War. Our thanks, our best wishes to all of you affected by what happened to him.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.